Inhale through the nose. Genesis 2 verse 7, and God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And he became a living soul. Beautiful verse. The nostrils. It must be the nostrils and the nostrils only. I read the story of a man called Professor Buteyko, Russian professor from the mid-1800s. He was a mechanic in the war, and he thought to himself when the war had finished, if I can understand how the human machinery works, I reckon I can fix it. Because he said, I understand how motors work, so I know how to fix them. Why not the human machinery? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So he studied medicine, and I'm surprised most doctors make it, because when they're young, when they're first doing their internship, it's 24 hours call 7 days a week. And he looked in the mirror one day, he was late at night in the hospital, and he was shocked at the image that he saw. He was overweight. For a young man in his early 30s, he already had diabetes, he had high blood pressure, and he looked at his shoulders, they were hunched, his mouth was hanging open, and he was shocked at how bad he looked. And when he saw it, he stood up and closed his mouth. And he didn't realise that he'd become a mouth breather. So he decided to stand straight and close his mouth. And he found that when he started nose breathing, he actually felt better, and his nose started to clear. You see, the more coffee he had, the more refined foods he had, the more everything got blocked up. So he got in this vicious cycle, so, he'd become a mouth breather. And then he came across a man who was having an asthma attack, and he told the man to shut nicely his mouth. Close your mouth. And the man looked at him horrified, because he felt he had to open his mouth to get more air. But he found that when they closed their mouths and forced themselves to breathe through their nose, that the asthma started to ease.